She's paid to serve and protect, not paid to beat the crap out of someone for her own purpose, whatever the frustrations are.
Officer arrested after the cell phone video surfaced. Now the man who recorded that video speaking out. Hear from him and police.
An armed man arrested in Baltimore. Now the community demanding answers, after he's taken away in an ambulance.
And a real fighter, a young boy with Down syndrome. Now his battle against cancer. His family could use some help. But as we come on the air tonight, breaking news out of the city of Toledo. Crews responding to a tire fire at a used auto parts store. Welcome into Action News at 11, 13 minutes of nonstop news. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson. This happened in the 4800 block of Detroit at Homer's Auto Parts. Police say they're not sure what caused the pile of tires to catch fire. Some of our viewers sent in video from the scene. As you can see, large plumes of smoke billowed high into the sky. And
crews had trouble getting to that yard because of the high fencing surrounding the lot. No injuries reported. Norfolk Southern stopping its trains in that area when it saw that smoke, and a lot of it. Also breaking right now, Toledo police responding to reports of a stabbing in the 100 block of Broadway. Have a crew on the scene. We'll bring you updates as they do become available.
And we continue with an update to breaking news we brought you earlier. A Toledo police officer charged with assault after she was caught on camera hitting a handcuffed suspect in the head.
And now the neighbor who recorded that cell phone video speaking exclusively with 13 ABC about the criminal case. Our Christine Long live with the interview you'll only see right here. Christine.
That neighbor says the assault charge is a step in the right direction, but not enough. Although that officer has not yet even been convicted, the neighbor who shot the cell phone video doesn't believe she should be getting paid right now.
Her badge needs to be taken away.
Brad Bollinger recorded this cell phone video in East Toledo on March 25th. It shows Officer Denise Fisher hitting a handcuffed suspect in the head. Monday, she was charged with misdemeanor assault and given a summons to appear in court for arraignment.
There's nothing anyone can do to cover this up. There's nothing they can do. If she is not found guilty, there is something really wrong with our judicial system.
According to Toledo Police, Officer Fisher went to the 900 block of Berry Street to arrest 20-year-old Raymond Rober for misdemeanor warrants, and he ran away through a house, over a fence, and across an alley. TPD officers caught him down the block. But it's what happened after the arrest that has this TPD officer facing a criminal charge.
It is a clear-cut case. The video speaks for itself. Whatever all the ands, ifs, and buts are, that police officer struck him, knowing that he is in police custody, being protected. All them 8 officers that stood there and watched it happen should all be brought up on counts of some sort of law themselves for allowing that to happen.
Once we were made aware of the video, we reached out to Mr. Rober, who was arrested that day.
Lieutenant Joe Heffernan says the department shared the results of its internal investigation with the prosecutor's office. Rober filed the charge. According to the complaint, Rober sustained a scratch on the right side of his head. Officer Fisher remains off the streets, reassigned to desk duty.
Once the court proceedings are completed against Officer Fisher, then we will pick up with the internal affairs investigation, and we'll see where that leads us.
Bollinger says this Toledo case is part of growing tension across the country.
The Baltimore case is way more serious, but as the video that I shot shows, it shows what police do when they're not being observed.
Heffernan says TPD takes all accusations of misconduct seriously. Officer Fisher is scheduled to appear in court on Friday. If convicted of the misdemeanor assault charge, she faces a maximum of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. Reporting live downtown, Christine Long, 13 ABC, Action News.
In a crime and safety alert now, Lourdes University investigating a suspected sexual assault from over the weekend. The school releasing a statement saying it's working with Sylvania police on a Title IX investigation into an incident on Saturday at Lourdes Commons. That's Lourdes on-campus housing complex. No other information was released.
A faith community is coming together to take action against what it calls the criminalization of youth. Tonight, more than a dozen churches met at the Monroe Street United Methodist Church. Toledoans United for Social Action wants to dismantle what it calls the pipeline to prison. The group opposes the zero tolerance policies in Toledo public schools. It's looking for ways for students to be disciplined other than by going to prison.
You don't want to incarcerate, you want to educate our children. So we need restorative practices, we need intervention and prevention, we need strategies put in place that will help the families as well as the children and the educators. We need the community to come together and take a full responsibility.
The group is hosting a fundraiser this August at the Monroe United Methodist Church. Turning now to weather, we had a pretty nice May day for this Monday. May the 4th be with you.
No, indeed. Star Wars Day. Summer Lake Field tonight. Really, a little humidity in the air. 13 minutes of nonstop news continues. Chief Meteorologist Jay Burschback. Jay?
Just like last night, just a bit uncomfortable for this time of the year. It's early May, of course, and temperatures tonight similar to last night's lows. Now, the rain really held off for most this evening. Had that rain come through early in the afternoon, and then poof, there it went. Here's live Doppler, 13,000 HD, showing just that one shower off to the east of us over Lake Erie. Viper HD shows how close that rain is. Here we go, right with the force field. Seems like it's pushing the rain around us, but heavier rain down near Dayton, just south of Lima, parts of Indiana, still seeing that heavy rain. Zooming out, this rain goes back to the west of us. Pretty hefty right now in parts of Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. And look at the extent of this boundary between the warm, humid air we're feeling and some cooler air to our north. Look at all those lightning strikes here. Nearly 2,000 lightning strikes at one point, but now down to about 836. So some of that moisture to the west will be moving our way the next couple of days. And with that, it's going to get warmer after a little cool down tomorrow. So chance of rain, we'll update that with Predictor. Temperatures in the 80s, not just 1 or 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 days in a row in the 7-day. And one of those days just happens to be Mother's Day. So it's going to be warm and humid for Sunday. We'll talk about the chances for rain in that 7-day forecast. I have tweaked the rain chances Wednesday just a bit, so we'll update what that means for your outdoor plans in a few minutes. We'll see you then.
He was featured in a national campaign in New York City as a face of someone with Down syndrome, but now the local 2-year-old is in the fight of his life battling cancer. 13 ABC's Amy Montgomery has his story of survival and how you can help.
Healthy, vibrant little boy.
This was James Thomas less than 1 year ago, after he was picked to be featured in a Down syndrome awareness campaign in the Big Apple. This is the 2-year-old today. Yay. Yay. Still vibrant, but in the hospital, receiving cancer treatment.
We're driving around waiting for the phone call back, and she called and she said, "You need to get back to the hospital immediately." She said, "James Thomas has leukemia."
The diagnosis was earth-shattering for the family of 9. His 6 older brothers and sisters took the news particularly hard.
And then that night when I had to go home and tell him, that was the hardest. One of the hardest things that you'd have to do.
Right now, James Thomas is finishing up his 4th round of chemotherapy. Mom and Dad say he's been a trooper.
He definitely does have good days and bad days. Usually when we first come in, it's usually one of those good days.
And you'd never know he was sick. His bubbly personality still shines through. However, the financial burden of his care is taking a toll. Even before his diagnosis, he faced several challenges having Down syndrome. He requires physical and speech therapy, among other things. And now he's undergoing a 2-year cancer treatment plan.
So we have 6 other children, and it has put a strain on us financially.
They're hoping for some community support as their baby faces the biggest hurdle of his life.
Amy Montgomery with that report. The Kishes have set up a GoFundMe page to help offset some of the costs of his care. We've put a link to that site on our website, 13abc.com.
Well, as tens of thousands of people struggle to put their lives back together after that horrible earthquake in Nepal, a local doctor really spearheading the effort to help. Dr. Richard Patton, a contingent of some 15 physicians are flying to Nepal tomorrow. They're bringing food, medicine, and water filtration systems, some of which have been donated by ISOH Impact out of Waterville. Doctors will land in Kathmandu, but they won't know where they'll be exactly and what they'll be working on until they get on the ground. The death toll in Nepal now topping 7,300. If you'd like to help in the relief effort, you can get connected to 13abc.com. Action News follow-up now. The State Fire Marshal and Toledo Arson Unit both looking into how a fatal fire on Willard started over the weekend. 14-year-old Joseph Fazenbaker was killed, his stepbrother in critical condition at U of M's Medical Center. Red Cross offering free mental health services for anyone in that community. You can get connected to 13abc.com for the phone number there.
Local Bob Evans restaurants teamed up to continue the legacy of fallen firefighters Jamie Dickman and Steve Mashinsky. Tonight, 26 locations donated 15% of each food bill to the Live Your Dream Foundation, provided that you could provide a flyer and show that you were willing to help out the cause. The money will provide scholarships to firefighters, paramedics, and musicians, and will even be used to buy stuffed animals for children affected by fires. The family tells us they don't know how much money was raised, but they did get to visit most of the participating restaurants and say thank you. If you'd like to donate to the foundation, get connected to 13abc.com. Be up to the minute you're up, beginning at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Jeff, Sasha, and Bill and Nicole only on 13ABC Action News. Good morning.
And an update now on the breaking news we brought you at the top of the newscast. Toledo police say the reported stabbing turned out to be a group of men fighting. One man sent to the hospital to receive stitches. That's the update on that stabbing we first told you about at the top of the newscast.
Tomorrow is election day for several local communities across Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan.
That's right. Voters in Springfield local schools deciding on an emergency levy. If it fails, the district says it will have to make millions of dollars in cuts. There are 4 candidates vying for a spot on Toledo City Council. Whoever wins will fill the spot formerly held by now Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson.
Bowling Green, Genoa, and Patrick Henry schools are turning to voters for support. Rossford Schools has a $5.9 mil operating levy on the ballot. If it passes, it will preserve class size and generate $2 million a year for the district. If it doesn't, the district will cut programs outside core subjects. Also, issues on the ballot for senior services in Ottawa County, fire and EMS in Pike Township, and roads and bridges in Clinton Township. We're going to have a breakdown of all the results once the polls close tomorrow night. Get connected to 13ABC Action News and 13abc.com. And voters in Michigan will take to the polls over road funding tomorrow. They're being asked to decide on a proposal that supporters say would smooth out the highways and byways. The proposal would increase Michigan's sales tax from 6% to 7% and restructure the gas tax. That's expected to generate $1.2 billion a year. Besides road repair, money would go to the schools and local government. Critics say the money would end up with special interest groups. New at 11, new unrest in Baltimore. Police arrested a man they say had a handgun where the riots had previously broken out. Officers say they spotted the man on surveillance camera and chased him before taking him into custody. Police found a loaded handgun, or a handgun loaded with 3 rounds. The arrest happened in the same area where Freddie Gray was arrested last month. He died later from a spinal cord injury in police custody. 6 officers from Baltimore have been charged in his death. A shooting range owner taking the stand today in the Colorado movie theater massacre.
And you thought that this was bizarre?
Yes, very definitely.
Glenn Rakovich says he got an email from James Holmes about joining the range in June of 2012. That was just a month before he carried out the deadly massacre that killed 12 people and injured 70 more. Rakovich said there were several strange things about Holmes' application, including his use of the word cheers and a slurred voicemail he left. James Holmes' attorneys say he is not guilty by reason of insanity. New at 11, here's a look ahead at what's in tomorrow's editions of The Blade. A local economics professor says manufacturing will remain an important part of Northwest Ohio's future economy, but the industry can no longer be banked on to create thousands and thousands of middle-class jobs. Plus, a federal official says an investigation of why an iron worker fell 40 feet from the Anthony Wayne Bridge is likely to take months to finish. The worker fell from the bridge on Friday and is suffering extensive injuries. You can read more about these and other stories in tomorrow's edition of The Blade and at ToledoBlade.com. 13 minutes after 11, much more ahead on this Monday night. Ending the speculation, Michigan's governor on talk of a run for the White House. The Bridgegate scandal, the criminal case, fallout for a pair of Chris Christie's former top allies. Plus, human smuggling, a rising death toll, horror on the high seas. Those stories plus Jay says get ready for some summer-like heat coming up in 35 seconds.
This is 13 ABC Action News with Diane Larson and Lee Conklin. Now, 13 ABC First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Berschbach.
And welcome back. Area has really dried out after some evening showers, really early evening. As the evening progressed, skies became partly cloudy and even some sunshine. So temperatures, they did jump back in the 70s. How about the rain? Where is it? We have one lone shower here over Lake Erie that's moving away from us, east of Point Peely there. Also, Southwest of us, we have showers trying to bubble northward. Little success here, so south of Lima, Van Wert, Fort Wayne, just some light showers. So the next couple of hours were dry. Chance of rain, though, increasing during and after the morning drive time. Let's zoom way out. Let's give you an idea of how, let's say, lucky we were tonight. If you had plans outdoors, we had storms flare up near Detroit tonight. Not severe, but some really heavy downpours just north of Monroe County. Also, big-time rains to our south. So there's the pattern we've seen in years past. The rain kind of goes around us. That was the case tonight. Looking upstream here, lots of moisture to work with the next couple of days, and that gives us the chance of rain tomorrow. And the chance of rain for Wednesday has been bumped up a little bit. Lingering moisture could produce some showers there. So we're looking better Thursday, Friday, but tomorrow, high chance of rain. Wednesday, a moderate chance of rain. Thursday and Friday are looking A-OK. How about your numbers today? 73, the warm high, lots of humidity in the air, and you woke up today with a low of 61. Maybe a little uncomfortable sleeping. Same deal tonight, and really, that's the theme for the 7 days. More summertime weather versus spring weather. 0.06 inches of rain. It's all we got today in Toledo, and sunrise tomorrow, 6:27. At that point, probably some showers in the area. Nothing severe, though. We're at 64 still with that mainly clear sky. Nice moon once again out there. Southwest winds are at 7. There's the dew point. The way we measure that moisture at 60. It's pretty high for early May. Other temperatures across the board now, we're in the 60s, 61 to 65. Two warm spots there out by Lake Erie, Port Clinton, Sandusky, both at 65 degrees. So what's next? Oh, it's coming our way. Here's predictor by the hour for tonight. I'll stop it at 7 a.m. There you go. Light showers here. That's the green area. Notice we'll see some breaks tomorrow. Best chance of rain, the highest chance mid to late morning. Here comes that solid batch of rainfall with a rumble of thunder. We could see some dry air work in during the afternoon. This is 3 p.m., but then as we get deeper into the evening, some more intense rain starts to develop. So 5, 6, 7 o'clock, have to watch that horizon for the darker clouds to return, increasing the chance of rain. And here's the latest on Wednesday. Looking at a 40% chance of rain. You see other kind of speckled areas of green, not that large area, so you can probably work around these if you have outdoor plans, but again, the chance of rain is there. For tonight, 56 your low, chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly towards sunrise, north winds 5 to 10. How about tomorrow? The hourcast here, trying to indicate with the darker clouds, the better chances for rain early and late. Highs in the 60s, cooler in the north, warmer in the south. Areas like Findlay, over toward Defiance, you'll be in the 70s. Folks up here near Lake Erie with that northeast breeze, 50s and 60s. 71 for Wednesday, chance of rain 40%. Here comes the heat. Thursday, 82. Friday, 84 degrees and dry both days. And Mother's Day weekend, Cedar Point opening day weekend, a little unsettled. Cedar Point opens Saturday, chance of rain 30%. Mother's Day, of course, Sunday with a high of 80, and each night lows in the 60s. How about next week? Still warm. There's no cool down in sight with this stretch of weather. Monday's high 75, and again, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. So if you thought the weekend was warm, we just came so close to 80 in Toledo. We might do that 4 times in the next 7 days. And look at the lows at night. Definitely maybe a thought of the air conditioner. Yeah. At least get the guy out there to check it out and make sure it's working.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, the guy that knows what is what. Yeah,
make sure it's working.
I'm not that guy.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Still to come on Action News tonight. GOP field getting more crowded in the race for the White House. Who's in, who's not? Coming up.
First, here are tonight's winning lottery numbers from your official lottery station, 13 ABC. In your vote 2016, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder says he is not eyeing the Oval Office. Many have speculated that his travels around the country sharing Michigan's economic rebound were aimed at a presidential run. But today, Snyder told the Associated Press that he's not aiming for a Washington cabinet post or the presidency.
Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul stopping in Michigan today. Senator Paul talking to a group in Grand Rapids about controlling spending and how he will fight for personal data privacy. Paul identifies as a libertarian and is known for a strict interpretation of the Constitution. Former Arkansas governor, former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee expected to announce another candidacy tomorrow. Huckabee supposed to make the announcement in his hometown of Hope, Arkansas. And earlier today, 2 more Republicans said they're running for the White House. Former Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fiorina and retired neurosurgeon from Detroit, Dr. Ben Carson.
2 former political allies of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie pleaded not guilty today. They're accused of scheming to close lanes of the George Washington Bridge as political retribution. Christie's former deputy chief of staff and his former top appointee at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey appeared in federal court today. Both later posted bail and were released. Christie has not been charged.
Human smuggling. Huge problem on the Mediterranean as the Italian Coast Guard continues to rescue illegal migrants over the weekend. More than 6,700 people were rescued at sea north of Libya. They were on overcrowded rubber dinghies and unseaworthy fishing boats. Just weeks ago, some 800 people died when an overcrowded smuggling vessel capsized and sank off the Italian coast.
Coming up in sports, a high school softball walk-off winner.
Plus, a report from Cleveland where the Cavs and the Bulls meet in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semis.
Up to the 13 ABC Action Sports, teaming up with BCSN. Now, here's Dave Hogue.
Okay, beating the Bulls is tough, but beating the Bulls without 2 starters, well, that's the task the Cavaliers are facing. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. They played a terrible first quarter. Cleveland playing catch-up from there. Kyrie Irving right at the defense, plus the foul. Kyrie scores 30. The lead down to 3 in the fourth quarter. Moments later, off the miss, LeBron, the putback. Lead cut to 2, but Derrick Rose clutched down the stretch. 2 of his 25 points. Cavaliers drop Game 1, 99-92. Joe Nugent at a deflated Quicken Loans Arena. Joe?
Dave, Chicago dropping jumpers like it's 1983. They hit better than 50% from the arc, and Cleveland kicking themselves after falling behind by so much so early.
You know, we had a bad start, obviously, you know, and we can't afford to do that in Game 2 in order to you know, even the series up. And, you know, it could have been just us been out of rhythm, you know, for 8 days. It could have been what the Bulls were doing. There's a little bit of everything, a combination of everything, and, you know, they got off to a fast start.
You expend a lot of energy and, you know, effort getting back from 16 and 15, and we just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Am I positive, and do I believe that we certainly given a little bit more in aspects of the game and in our play, we're certainly capable of winning? Yes, I do believe that strongly.
Cavs more than likely will have to win Game 2 right back here at the Q, and tough to waste a performance like that from Kyrie Irving with those 30 points.
Thank you, Joe. NFL update, former Bowling Green linebacker DJ Lynch is not going to Kansas City after all. The Chiefs are worried about Lynch's knee injury, missed 5 games last year, so they pulled their contract offer. But soon after that, the New England Patriots offered Lynch a minicap invitation, so he'll still get a shot in the NFL with the reigning Super Bowl champs. Good softball game between Swanton and Toledo Christian. Scoreless until Emily Calicote steps to the plate. Ground ball to first. Good enough to get Swanton on the board and score a run. It's 1-0 Bulldogs. Jump ahead to the bottom of the 4th. Runner on 3rd. Pitch goes loco. Bethany Cole-Morgan scores for TC, so it's tied at 1. Stays that way until the bottom of the 7th. Bases loaded. Madison Huffman up to bat. Grounder to 3rd. Bulldogs come home with the throw. It hits Jackie Larrell in the back of the helmet. She scores. Toledo Christian wins a thriller 2-1. Tomorrow's all about the ECHL. Walleye on the road against the Fort Wayne Comets. We'll be there at 6 and 11.
Up 2-zip, right?
Up 2-zip. Looking to make it 3-0.
All right, Dave. Thanks. Your wake-up weather forecast right around the corner.
First, a live view from our 13 ABC Oregon East Toledo Action Camp. Jay right back with what to expect Tuesday morning.
Just a few spotty showers for us tonight. Bigger storms to the west. You can see that line back in the Plain States. That is what's in store the next couple of days. Showers and storms. Tomorrow, the bus stop forecast. Keep the umbrella handy. Chance of showers. Sunrise 627. We'll be in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow's high 64. A cooler breeze off the lake. 71 Wednesday. Rain ends. And warm and dry Thursday and Friday.
And 13 minutes of nonstop news back tomorrow at 11 right here on 13 ABC.
For Lee Conklin, Jay Burschback, Dave Holmes, and all of us at 13 ABC, I'm Diane Larson. Our next scheduled news tomorrow at 4:30 a.m.
Jimmy Kimmel Live next, then Nightline. Have a good night, everyone.
When news breaks, it breaks here first. 13 ABC Action News.